My name is David Yasif Levi Hawkins, and I'm an ordained minister in the house of Yahweh. Last week we started talking about why Yahweh has allowed these ambiguous and sometimes mistranslated scriptures in the Bible. But we ran out of time. So let's do a quick review and try to complete as much of this lesson as we can today. Now, since Yahweh is all-powerful, it seems natural to assume that He could have intervened and made sure that all the scriptures were written in such a way that made them crystal clear to understand by anyone. But it's obvious that He didn't do it that way. My friends, what you're going to discover today will amaze you. You're going to see that Yahweh allowed and even inspired the Bible to be written like a parable or like a puzzle to make sure that only the doers of the law will understand the complete message of Yahweh. Yahweh designed and inspired the scriptures such that not even the biblical scholars will understand the scriptures as much as the simple, humble layperson who actually keeps the laws of Yahweh. It's truly a miracle when you really think about it. This is why you would read the scriptures and see, various scriptures that says people will hear the word of Yahweh being preached, or will read it and will not understand. And it says, "Blessed are you if you read and understand." You see? Because there's a lot of people who's going to read and not understand. In Matthew chapter 13 verse 10, we looked at this last week, but we're going to look at it again because it holds an important key to understanding the mysteries of the Bible. I want you to turn here with me. Matthew chapter 13 verse 10. And here we're going to see, my friends, that the truth of Yahweh is in fact a secret. But this ain't no ordinary secret. Because although everyone in the world either has a Bible or has access to a Bible, you can get your access to a Bible from a library, the message of Yahweh is still largely a secret, which only those who actually keeps the laws of Yahweh understands. It's just amazing, when you truly understand it. But Yahweh has allowed the scriptures to be written like a parable or a puzzle, And this is what you're going to see when we read this here in Matthew chapter 13 verse 10. It gives us some insights as to why Yeshua Messiah spoke in parables. And the answer, my friends, will probably amaze you. In verse 10, Matthew chapter 13 verse 10, it says, "Then the disciples came to him and asked, 'Why do you speak to them in parables?' And notice his answer in verse 11. He answered and said to them, 'Because it has been given to you to know the great secrets of the kingdom of Yahweh, but to them it has not been given.'" And jump down to verse 13. "That is why I speak to them in parables, because seeing they do not see, and hearing," like many of you are hearing here today and reading in the scriptures, "they do not hear, nor do they understand." So do you see that it was not always to make things clear and easy to understand that the scriptures were written the way it was. In fact, the Bible is written like a puzzle. So, in order to understand any particular biblical subject, it would mean that you will have to look all over the Bible. You know, it's written here a little and there a little, like a puzzle. Notice this in Isaiah chapter 28. Isaiah chapter 28. We're going to start reading in verse 9. And it says, "To whom will he teach knowledge? To whom will he make to understand doctrine? To those who are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast." Verse 10. "For precept must be upon precept, line upon line, and here a little, and there a little." You see? Like a puzzle. Here a little, there a little. You know, it might come as a surprise to many, but Yahweh is not desperately wanting everyone in the world to know the truth about Him. He's not, he does, but He's not desperately wanting that. You see? You might get that impression, though, when you watch these preachers preaching, you know, but this is simply not the case. Yahweh has a plan of salvation for all mankind, and it is on target, it is on schedule. He's not upset that Satan's message of sin and disobedience is far more popular than his message of repentance from sin. Yahweh knew that the world would be drenched in sin, but He wants us to see and experience the end product of what sin brings. You see, this is why, for the most part, He has only sent the prophets to warn the people, not necessarily to convert them. Yahweh is like a parent that warns his children about playing with fire, but does not stop them. He has never stopped anyone from stealing, murdering, or breaking any of His other laws. And because of this, some might even conclude that it's okay to sin. That's not the case. For instance, Yahweh didn't stop the Catholic Church from changing the Sabbath day from the seventh day to the first day, Sunday. And that's basically what most Christians are following today. And they don't realize even the history of it. Yahweh didn't stop the religious leaders and the people from killing the prophets and the apostles either. He didn't stop that. All this has made the truth of Yahweh even more a secret and not nearly as popular as the message of sin and law breaking, which are taught by all the religions in the world today.